G'day patrons, welcome to Patreon with Xrisart. And okay, usually I've been doing Monday and Tuesday. I had a function earlier this week and had to reschedule, so I've done Tuesday and Wednesday, and this is normally Tuesday's project. So we are going ahead and doing the bear. Okay, the bear and the waterfall. Last week we were painting in, or the previous session, we were painting in the frame. I need to continue with the frame in this area here and this area here. And what I'd like to do is to make a start on the bear. So, having said that, I've just found a speck or two of pastel, and of course the trusty kneaded eraser. Kathy, hello there. How you going? Thank you for keeping me company today. All right, so I should get cracking and do this part of the frame. Now, I think I did all right getting that relatively straight, because it does make a difference when, especially with geometrical shapes like that. But anyway, so, and if you notice there, and it's given the frame a bit of depth as well, if you can see that there's and it's where the light hits, I suppose, how this was photographed. And so the top part is the lighter part. Somehow, there are bits here, and maybe I could go darker in certain areas, but we'll see as I go along. But anyway, get cracking. What I'll do is I will put my glassine paper here so I can lean on it, and so I don't make any big smudges here. And perhaps, and of course mixing. I'll be mixing red iron oxide extra dark. This is too red actually, and maybe a bit of the burnt sienna extra dark, but we'll see how we go. Actually, what I might do is I might work inside out. Carefully thinking this through, actually. Today, or this week, we've had some really horrible weather. It's been raining heavily, and lots of flooding in certain areas. Kathy, how are you going in your area? Now I'm going to use a pastel pencil to do a fine line, so I decided to, although I've got my lines here, but they're all a guide too, aren't they? Yeah, we've had sunny days and cold nights, but no rain. Wow. Wow. I can't seem to dry anything. It must be coastal. That's probably why. I'm just a bit quiet at the moment. Just getting all of this done. Yes, East Coast really copying it. Are you near any rivers in flood? Well, I'm 5-minute walk from Lake Macquarie, where I am, but my house is high, so I'm not getting the floods. You know, 1 year fires, next year flooding. That's all right, but I'm safe. Hang on a sec. I'm going to put a paper towel just here so I don't damage my surface. Thought I had some close by. Perhaps build an ark just in case, then rescue all the animals. Oh yeah. Oh, it's incredible. Doing straight lines is something that I'm not good at. So you've got to, well, there's more than one way to skin a cat. I was going to mention the wins with the art show international on FB, etc., but still waiting for one of the certificates. Oh, okay, cool. I'm so proud of you, Kathy. That's wonderful, And you know what? It's quite courageous to do things like that, because, you're open to criticism, you're open to letdowns. I'm not saying you per se, but in general. And you're doing it. That is like the coolest ever. And I'll just take off my jacket here. I'm just a bit warm. That's better. Yes, so it takes a bit of courage, I think, because you just don't know what'll happen, right? And so good on you. I'm so pleased for you. I can never find the right words, but know deep down that I'm just so excited for you. I love hearing things like that. It's a good way to get your name and art out there. Oh, look, absolutely. I would be doing it even more, but my time, if you only knew. There's a few that I want to enter, but I've just got to get my act together and get some shows, put some in shows. Oh, really? Hang on a sec. I'll just get my vacuum cleaner out. I'll just turn off the sound for a minute. Okay. You can hear me all right, can't you? Yep. Okay, cool. There's damn straight lines. But they're okay, they're working. Here we go. Bit of a problem solving situation there. Probably would use pastel pencil. There's a little corner bit here which I'm going to use. After these two paintings, if no one asks me to do anything, I'm going to do another portrait. So if anyone wants to do anything, paint anything, let me know, because I've got some cool portraits coming up. And you know, they're in fact mashups, so yeah, really unusual ones, but hopefully fun ones, actually fun ones. Yes, if no one else has requests. It's really interesting. I was reading a Facebook post, and where there was an artist asking, what is your process? What do you do first? Do you do an underpainting? Do you work on one area and then finish that and go on to another area? It was a really interesting Oh, and this is part of the frame, but I'll let that go for the time being. Yes, it was a very interesting question, and something, you know, interesting how some artists sometimes, yeah, it all depends. Sometimes for me, if you are asking me that question, and it's a very good question, in most cases, say if it's a portrait, I will definitely do the eyes first, but I won't finish it. I will probably take, say, doing the eye area for about, I don't know, 80% perhaps, 80, 85, 90, 85%. But then, if it's a portrait, and I think it's with most, is that I will try to cover and it all depends the size, of course, but something like this, I try to cover large areas quite quickly, but yeah, cover areas quite quickly to about, say, 80% or even 75%, and then go in details. Yeah, so for those who are watching this session, it would be interesting to see how you feel comfortable, because it all depends on how every artist is different and we all work differently. We do these sessions and I work you guys to about, I don't know, sometimes like we try to get as much as we can down in certain areas and then just keep on building. Sometimes, depending on how difficult the subject is, we might need to concentrate, especially if there's a lot going on, and we did that with where there was a shoe house and there were like this field and it looked like it was in the distance and there was a face down here, but there was air balloons going and all of that. In that one we concentrated in certain areas, yes, because there was a lot going on. But in most cases, it's usually probably about, I think about 75% of the way I try to cover. Like here, for example, like we did the background, and I'm pretty much around about, it'll be about 80% with this frame. But you see, there's a lot going on, so I think it depends on the subject or the area, but yeah, but in general terms, I'll say in general terms, I would say that it definitely looks like a frame, and because it's timber, it doesn't need to be perfect. Gives it charm. Yes, I agree. I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah, so that was a very interesting question. I like those kind of questions. It makes you think. What are we? Dark. Light. Oh. Then there's another bit in here. I saw a work in progress of a portrait, nearly all done except the eyes. It freaked me out. Yeah, I know. I find it hard to do the eyes last, whereas some people, some artists, they'll they'll do that last. Yeah, it's it's a bit scary. Anyway, but that's, everyone works differently, but it's just interesting to see how people work. That always fascinates me. I'm also trying to put a bit of texture in the frame. So, and don't forget, there's going to be spray of water on top. So I just want to make sure that I get all of this right, because down the track I won't be able to do anything with that. So, okay, so now this area here. Yeah, see, for me, like, for example, the portrait, if I don't do the eye, it makes it very difficult for me to work through it. I don't know why. I couldn't even tell you why. But it was, it's a very interesting question. Okay, this one is very light. I'll still maintaining these colors, but I think I need to go a little bit lighter in certain areas. So lucky we've got oh no, I don't want to use this ruler. Yeah, so interesting. But you see, I don't want to make you do things the way I paint, because we're all individuals. But I mean, I'm just guiding you. Like, if, for example, if we're doing a portrait and it's not the way you paint, well, I want you to paint the way you like to paint. So if you want to do the eyes last, well, I suppose you could do that at the end. Do you know what I mean? It's interesting because I work with the eyes and then I start with the nose. Yeah, I think it all depends. Yeah, and then I usually have to do all of those senses: the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. The mouth can be last, although, I get a bit funny about doing the mouth really late in the portrait. So I like to do that pretty quickly. Yeah. dark, light, dark. Okay. The eyes are the window to the soul, and I think you see the person's character. So without doing the eyes first, it almost looks dead, yeah, and creepy. Creepy, looks creepy. But yeah. Yes. Trying to get the right value in this section here. It's really important. Value, that's that word. Value, value, value. The right shade. There's a nice little roundy bit here, so I want to make sure I capture that. There's and don't forget there'll be water over this section as well, so or we could do a still life. You know, if you wanted to do a still life, we could do a still life. We can do that. It's up to you. It doesn't for the next project, but if no one says anything, we'll do a portrait. But yes. That's dark, that's light. What have I got here? Light. Let me dark. There'll be a little bit of a light thing there. It's dark, that's light. I don't mind still life projects. A bit hard to say that word. Still lives, still lives, still lives. Yeah. Now just remember, I have to say it every now and again. I know I must sound like a broken record. The bristle brushes with the pans make the pastel dusty. Well, it's not as dusty as the soft pastel sticks, but nevertheless, if you're using the soft tools, which you can, there is limited dust, in fact hardly any dust, so for those who are allergic or or a bit sensitive, by all means use the soft tools. But I'm getting quite a bit of control here, as you can see. So I'm happy with a portrait. It's something you have to do often to remember the skin tones exactly. Okay. Yes, well, definitely going to do a portrait. But it'll be a, you know, a surreal one. Well, you know, there'll be some interesting things happening. The interesting part about the frame, if when you get a chance to have a look at the reference, there's lots of little grainy bits because of the wood. So this is where it's really good with the pastel pencil and, you know, with our finer teeny weeny brush. So yes. think I'll do this first. Now this bit here, there's a bit of I'm trying to give it some depth, so might have to, I want something really light, so it looks like white's going to come into it here because the bottom is influencing, and it's not light enough for me in this section here. That's why I'm using white, because it's mixing with underneath, like with the underneath layer. Yep. Probably need and then let's do that again. Yep, that's where I want it to be. Then a little bit more, I think. Maybe pastel. There we go. Now, here. There's sort of lines, but they're not sort of a bit jagged, and just here as well. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of texture in this area here. And texture on the other side here. Then there's this fine white line. It is just, honestly, it is just super fine. That's not super fine. Because you know what's happened, the film is just there. I'll have to, when the film, it's okay. Good thing it's pastel's forgiving. It's just that the film is here and it's just on the line where I want that to go. I'll do that at the end. Oh my phone in waiting in, on my phone in waiting room, so will disappear soon. Cherry, oh, hello Cherry. Okay, hi, just to say I'm out at the moment, but we'll catch up later. No problem, my dear. Nice of you to pop by and say hello. Keep me company as well. What has been happening is I've been doing this side of the frame and this side of the frame, so yeah, but I want to get stuck into the bear. It's a bit of a focal point, isn't it? There we go, there's that fine line. That's better. Okay. All right. Might be a bit too bright there, but I'll let it go for the time being, as there'll be lots of pastel going on top of everything. So, all right. So, and there's this little bit here of the frame, but I'm quite happy just to let that go for the time being. Chrissy, if you ever give out student awards, my vote goes to Cherry as the most dedicated. Oh, absolutely. She's extremely dedicated. Extremely dedicated, because I know that you do projects with Will as well. And oh my gosh, the amount of art that you've been doing, Cherry, is phenomenal. So I'm so pleased. Yes, I know. Definitely. And of course, yes, and Kathy as well. Like, just. But you know what? I tell you what. You've got to love it to be doing it. For me, I love art. So whether I'm showing it or not, which obviously it's nice to do that, of course, but I could sit and paint and draw and just be in my own little world. Of course, I love to share, and of course, I love to, do what I'm doing here. I enjoy it so much. But yes, it's all about passion, isn't it? Look, it was just too bright and it was annoying me, so I thought I had to just neutralize it a little bit, which is a little bit better, maybe, I don't know. Yeah. Yes, you've got to love it. So, yeah. It's got to be a really nice pastime. All right, now trying to figure out. Okay, I want to start on the bear. She's so dedicated. I bet it's not the waiting room she's in. It's the outhouse. Ah, cheeky Kathy, you're so cheeky. Okay, so what's interesting here, when I'm looking, I have been looking at this for a while, and to see how how I'm going to tackle this. Okay, there's water, of course, the obvious is the bear, but then there's water, and then there is part of that ocean, probably that that I have to match here, just in this area here. But that's all right. We'll just build that in. But when we're talking about the bear, underneath the water, I can see, now I've zoomed right into this, and I can see where the bear is standing, like its legs. But there's so much of that water that you really can't tell. I mean, you really can't. It's just that your brain, well, I suppose that's what it is. It's the brain that's telling me that that's where it is. So when I'm cutting this then, when I'm cutting this, I was in two minds. One was to cut all of this and do an underpainting of the bear's skin, and then on top, obviously it'll be different value. So that's where I'm going with at the moment. That is what I'm... Okay, you got to go. All right, Cherry, thank you so much for popping in to say g'day. Oh, love it. Okay, so... And of course, this is all water here. I'm just looking at my reference. Yes, well, I do think it's time to take everything off, actually, because it'll all blend in. Let's do that. These are big decisions sometimes. Here we go. It's coming off. And she's off. Just have a drink of water. Okay. The colours that we're going to use for the bear, it'll be a mixture. I'm going to mix burnt sienna extra dark, also raw umber extra dark in certain areas. Phew, my heart was in my throat then. Okay. And there will be red iron extra dark. Now, if again, when you go when you zoom in, you will see that there are different shades of brown. Okay, so. And all the fur, where it's wet, we will use pastel pencils. No doubt, pastel pencils like this, the Carbothello 690, something like the Derwent Tan P70, which is like an ochre. I'll see if I can match the Stabilo Carbothellos. Oops, sorry. Black. Why am I leaning over like that when I can't? I just silly me. Yes. So anyway, so we'll just start off with an underpainting. What am I doing? I need to mix as well, so at the moment I just need to lay down some pastel. The eco tool that I'm using here is the smudge, which is sort of filberty shaped. raw umber, and it'll help give some depth to this animal by using all of these different shades of brown. I know it sounds boring the way I say it like that, but you know, earthy tones. How about that? And I'm going slow. Raw umber extra dark. Burnt sienna, extra dark, along the back, along his back. Burnt sienna extra dark. Burnt sienna extra dark. I'm flipping this over. Okay. How it should happen is to go in the direction of the fur. So really we should be going this way. So, but all I'm trying to do at the moment is just get some pastel down. Now there's this area here where it's really dark. There's some really dark spots and I just want to make sure that I capture that. And even if I have to mix a bit of black right here and red iron oxide extra dark, but I really need to make that nice and rich and dark, and it's just in this spot here. about, no, it's here. Missed the spot. It's here. That'll be fine there. I didn't want that bit to be dark. I wanted that bit to be dark. Looks like where his front leg is, it's about here. Then there's some fur coming on either side of it, around his tummy underneath. So yeah, just make sure that that is there. Okay, back to it. Whoops, wrong one. The other side. See, remember, this is more for blending. This is that smudge tool, more for blending, and this one for applying pans over an area such as this size. So yes. That's why I wasn't too fussed about this, because it's just going to be covered. But yeah. I don't think I've ever done a bear before. I don't think I've done a bear before. I've done other animals, not a bear. Let me just get the vacuum cleaner here for a minute. It's starting to annoy me a little bit. So hang on a sec. I'll just put the sound down. And we're back. So burnt sienna extra dark at the moment is what I'm using. Raw umber, extra dark. Now you'll find, I don't know, the light colour Pastelmat, I find that you've got to work extra hard, just that little bit harder, to make sure that you get the coverage, because you probably can't see it in real life, but I can still see quite a bit of the surface. So this is the dark bits as well. Should have done that as well. That's all right. Yeah, so you might have to, if you're using lighter colours of Pastelmat, I mean, depending on what the subject, of course, but yeah. Oh, how annoying. Sorry, I just want to do this again. Okay, back to it. Again, mixing it up a little bit with the burnt sienna extra dark on top. I wonder if we're going to get all of this bear in for a base. Yeah, well, I'm thinking animals that I've done eagles, I've done horses, I've done hawks. What else have I done? Gorilla, or silverback in fact. Portrait or whole, lion, elephants. Let me see, what else? I've got to think. I've lost track. Snow leopard, but with a twist, of course. What else? I don't think I've done a bear. I'm just trying to think. Bit of the yellow ochre shade, extra dark, no, shade, just in this spot here. I will be doing my first animal next, a French Bulldog Scary. Oh yes. Make sure you get a really good reference. Is this for a commission, Kathy? Is it? Raw umber, extra dark. And mind you, the pressure that I'm applying is medium pressure. It's not feather light, but it's not pressing hard, okay? The pressure is, all I want to do at the moment is just see if I can get as much pastel down, because you can see there's, you can see through that, so I really need to cover that. And I must remember these dark bits there. Need to vacuum again. There's a bit of black. These dark bits that I just do not want to let go of. Burnt sienna, extra dark here. Okay. put this aside for a moment. Let's just do that. Let's just do that. Okay, well, we've managed to... Okay, it's my daughter's dog, and we have a really cute photo. Oh, wonderful. This will go with the portrait I did of Benji recently. Yes, your grandson. Yes, yes, yes. Lovely, lovely. All right, so today, what did we do? We did the other part of the frame, and we started on the bear. So, making progress. Slow and steady wins the race. Anyway, look, thank you all. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for keeping me company, Kathy, and Cherry popping in also. And for those who are watching this session, feel free to ask questions, as many questions as you can. But until then, I'll see you all next week. We'll probably go back to Monday, Tuesday. But all thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye for now.